One of the biggest takeaways that we got after we put our first 2 blogs is, what is it that we're doing? What is your vlog going to be about, or what are you going to be covering? While the first 2 that came out were really kind of lighthearted and fun, this time around we're actually going to dive into some content related to real estate specifically.
Like a real estate agency now with that pen and paper in your hand.
Watch your head. It's low in here. We're going to sit on one of our little Welcome to the Treehouse. So,
you have a bug going into your nose, I'm sorry.
What?
You have a bug going into your nose.
I can't hear you.
You have a bug just went up to your nostril.
Is it in there?
Like, oh my god,
It's in my brain.
Because if you didn't tell me, I would have killed him. Sorry, can I edit that part out?
Oh, that's going in. That's the whole reason. Priceless.
Pete and Margaret Vishion back with you from the Treehouse. We're shooting it here for tax purposes so that we can deduct the cost of the Treehouse
Home office.
build, home office. Yeah, so it's a Treehouse / home office. So we're going to be talking to you today about a couple topics. One of which would be pricing your house in this seller's market, but then also one thing you may not have known about Zillow.
We'll save that for the end. Now we're going to just dive into how to price your house in this great seller's market we have right now.
So there's 2 buckets that we want to pull from when we're pricing a home. You have the subjective data and you have the objective data. The objective data is the MLS system. If you don't know what that means, it's the multiple listing service. And it's a service that we have as agents that we can pull comps, comparable sales, that have sold in the area, and it'll also give us what's on the market or what's pending or under contract. And that data we use to determine the price of your home. And these are all terms like how many beds and baths you have, what your location is, school district, all those tangible things that we can actually put values to and put you into categories, where the subjective data is almost even more important than the objective data, because the subjective data are the intangibles that pull on the heartstrings of buyers. Some things that we've seen recently is walkability. While that's somewhat objective and subjective, walkability is a huge aspect to what people are wanting when they're trying to buy a house. They want to be able to walk to the corner market. They want to be able to walk to downtown Webster. Those are really important things that sometimes will get lost in the shuffle when you're looking at homes online and just basing it solely on objective data.
Like when you just pull up Zillow. Everyone's probably Googled or Zillowed their house to see what Zillow thinks your house is worth, and it can be a good basis for what your home is worth, but it can be also up to like 35% off. So you can't just use Zillow for the only way to know what your house is worth.
It's a good way to determine a range of what your home could potentially be worth, but it could be wildly wrong on the high side or wildly wrong on the low side. So our job as agents is to actually narrow it down for what we think it should be priced, not only from a value perspective, but also a perspective of what it looks like in this current real estate climate, because that is very important. You can underprice a house or you can overprice a house, but if you price it perfectly, you're going to have a better chance of getting not only the best contract, but attract the right buyer that's going to perform per the contract.
And to also do it quickly. I mean, it's hard to sell your house, so the faster we can do it, the less mornings you have to pick up all the kids' toys and do all the dishes. That's worth money to our clients, and so we try to make the process as easy as possible.
Absolutely. And this is probably the strongest seller's market I know that we have ever seen since we've been in the business, and we've been doing this since 2005. Mm-hmm. So Zillow started in 2006, so we're just about 6 months older than Zillow. So if you're gonna,
I like that.
Yeah, we're a little bit older than Zillow, but if you're going to actually hire a real estate agent, you're hiring them for their expertise.
expertise and all the things like you were saying that you also get from us that you don't necessarily get from Zillow. You know, we help with contractors, we help stage your house.
So earlier today I was doing some research on Zillow, and I just wanted to pull up a house to figure out what Zillow was saying it was worth. It's a home that I know, and I know that it is a home that has sold recently, so Zillow has that data. I know that it's a home that has had a lot of work done to it in the past year, so Zillow's not going to reflect that data. When I figured out what the Zestimate was, I know what it had just been recently appraised for, and it was considerably different. So what I did is I clicked on Zestimate, and I don't know if you've ever actually clicked on the Zestimate that they give you, but there's a little question mark in the bottom, and it'll say, what is a Zestimate? And it'll give you a web page that shows you exactly how they come up with that data. One of the really interesting things about that is when you click on that, it'll give you the major metropolitan areas, and it shows you through a 4-star rating how accurate that data actually is. So when I started scrolling down and I looked at all the major metropolitan cities, there was about 4 that had a 1-star rating, one of which was St. Louis. So that was really eye-opening for me as an agent because I didn't know that. But as a consumer, I feel like a lot of times we'll go on listing calls and they will feel like, well, we know what our house is worth because Zillow has told us it's X amount. But in actuality, all Zillow is doing is pulling the assessed value from the tax records. So that's something you could do. You could actually be Zillow. You could be pulling that yourself and saying, my house was assessed for X amount, so I want X amount for my house.
At least in the St. Louis market. In other markets, it's easier because the homes are more similar. In St. Louis, you can have a ranch next to a 2.5-story that's down the street from, mid-century modern. They don't take any of that into consideration.
St. Louis doesn't have a uniform housing stock. It also has a very wildly varying range of ages that the homes are. So you have homes that are 50 years old next to homes that are 150 years old. So you have to take all that into account when you're assigning values.
Thanks for joining us today in our treehouse, and we had fun giving you a little glimpse into our little world.
We're not always going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about things like Webster Groves, or how Margot's now doing CrossFit with me, which is kind of scary.
It's terrible.
Or we might cover things like what our favorite restaurant is, or
touring houses, all sorts of seeing how we go from sitting in your living room telling you a price to a sold sign in your yard.
That's good. That's how I used to start every shot.
Yeah.
So you want me to start? Pete and Margot Vishion, live from the Treehouse. Vlog numero dos. And we are going to be covering some cool topics today, which are...
And the last thing that maybe didn't sound weird to him, but it sounded like you were going like, and then you were talking about this and that. I was like, well, I wonder if that sounds straight.
How many more hats have you gotten?
I think about 5. 4 or 5. I gave one of them away last weekend because they're so cool that people want them from me. That's the thing that's so cool, is that you think that I look weird, but in the back of your mind, you really know that I look cool.
Keep telling yourself that.
Whenever you're ready.
Welcome to the Treehouse. Pete and Margot Vishion here.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Welcome to the treehouse. Sorry, I missed that. Hi, welcome to our treehouse. We're so excited you got to come.
Hi, welcome to the treehouse. So excited that you got to watch and listen to us again.
Thanks for joining us today in our treehouse, and we had fun giving you a little glimpse into our world.
Some other things that you might see from us pretty soon would be some stuff around Webster, or maybe my butt set.
Well, just be your normal self. Ah.